Diabolique.
Hi guys, welcome back to 31 Days of Horror. Let's get this out of the way straight away.
Diabolique. Diabolique. Diabolique.
That is the film I just watched. I believe it says devilish, but I thought it was, it actually meant devil. It's a French film from 1955. This is, or has been, on my list for a long time, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I kind of think I've seen this film before. I've seen something that is very similar. The film is about two women. One is the wife of a awful man, and one is the mistress of this awful man, who happens to be this principal at this boarding school. And then they decide they want to kill him. And they make a plan, and then things get a little bit twisted. This, I'm actually not going to get more into the film, even though it is from 1955, because actually at the end of this film, there is like a warning saying, please don't spoil this for anybody. And even though it's from the 50s, I still hell respect that, and I think that's really cool. The film is a very straightforward, basic story, but what really gets you is the acting and the way it's paced. I feel like it is so simple that it's done to perfection. Sometimes when films are done simple, they try and overcomplicate little details and little parts, but because you're kind of drawn in with these characters to what's happening, the tension builds and really fast. The film goes for an hour and 50 minutes, which is insane, and it actually doesn't feel like that long with the way the acting is set up and all of the scenes. Everything is very purposeful, and also it's quite realistic. The music for this film is only in the first, like the opening titles, and also in the credits, so there's no music throughout the film, so it's not really like super dramatized, which in 50s and 60s movies you see like a lot of like theatrics, but this film, even though it does have theatrics, it's not like that. It's very realistic, and that's why what happens is so surprising. The thing about this film is there is a bit missing. I actually read about this afterwards, that the relationship between the two women was actually meant to be romantic as well, and this is from the book that it's based on. And I feel like that would add so much to the movie, because they kind of hint at things or say like relationship kind of things, but I'm not sure if it's translated. Obviously I watched this with subtitles, I do not speak French, and I don't know if it was the translation that was wrong, but it kind of said things about being partners and things about splitting up, and it seemed like there was more there, and I think if there was more there, it might have been risque for the time, but I think it would have been perfect for this film, and it would make it make sense. And it also is like this other film that I can't say what it is because that will give away something, but I love that kind of aspect where it's kind of twisty and turny. Dang, I can't say too much. I've already said enough. The film is also in black and white, which I think might be quite obvious. So there's not a lot I can talk to you about with mise-en-scene and coloring and all that kind of stuff. I think that there was a lot of beautiful wide shots, and they definitely utilized a lot of children actors, which I guess adds to the realism, because a lot of kids acting like kids, nowadays you don't see it as much, and it seems quite a bit forced, and with older films it's, you know, all about the wide shots and getting in as much atmosphere and as much of the room really as possible, and the architecture, and I felt like this film obviously does that, and it does it again in a realistic way. And I think that's what really makes this film, is it feels so realistic all the way through. And a cool piece of trivia for you guys is that Hitchcock actually missed out on directing this film. He wanted to buy the rights, and he missed out by just a couple of hours, I'm pretty sure, which is insane. And I wonder if we got this as a Hitchcock film, what he would have changed from the original source. Although I say that simple is a beautiful thing, I felt like this film lacked some of the tension between the relationship. I don't think that the story itself should be changed. I think that that was great, but if there was a, you know, a relationship added in there, I feel like the tension would have been so much greater, and so much more at cost, so much more at stake. And I think that for me, it was great, but it wasn't, you know, life-changing. And I know this is a lot of people's favorite films, and a lot of people say this is the best foreign film of all time, but I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's a bad film by any means. I think it's a beautiful story. It's a classic story, but I just would have liked to see more in the relationship, and I hope you guys understand that. Still think it's a good film, and I still do think I've seen it before. At least I know the story, because I definitely knew it was gonna happen. But don't get me wrong, this is what I love about 31 Days of Horror, going back and watching all the classics that I never got a chance to see. So thank you so much for recommending this. Let me know what you thought of Devilish, the Devil, down below. I'm sure you guys are gonna correct me down below. Let me know what you give it out of 10. And let me know what you thought of the simplicity of the story, and if you think a relationship would have changed anything, because for me, that's what I was banking on. And then when I read about that afterwards, I'm like, that makes so much more sense if that was put in there, because it would have changed the whole dynamic. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today, and I can't wait to see your comments down below. I can't wait to see what you thought about this film. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you've been with me every single day, I love you so much. We nearly made it to a week. Actually, tomorrow's a week. Okay, guys, hang in there. Be strong. 31 Days of Horror. I'll see you tomorrow.